Hey everypony! If you're looking for my episode 4 review, it was done in collaboration with Epsilon Star and uploaded onto their channel, link in the description. Anyway, before I get started with episode 5, I feel the need to add a disclaimer. Everything I say in these videos is just my opinion. You hear a lot of people on the internet throwing around the phrases objectively good or objectively bad when critiquing a series, and I hate that! Almost everything about fiction is subjective. It's come to my attention that some viewers feel when I criticize G5 or even G4, I'm telling them that they can't or shouldn't enjoy what they enjoy. I'm so sorry if I've come off like that. It was never my intention. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean you're wrong or I think your opinion is dumb. Everything I say in these videos is just my opinion, bar actual facts about the series. And I'm trying to be better about specifying that. So let me share my opinion of episode 5, the Cutie Mark mix-up. To start off, Hitch's speech that kind of falls apart is a good example of what I was saying in my episode 2 review. In the movie, Hitch was very charismatic. Every pony in the town looked up to him, and he was seen as a pillar of the community, and he was very good at his job. Here, those traits just aren't there. He's a bit of a bumbling fool, and ponies don't give him the respect and admiration he got in the movie. So, some fans seemed upset about Izzy levitating herself. Of all the things to complain about, this doesn't seem worth it to me. We saw babies do this in G4. If a unicorn actually starts flying, instead of just hovering over the ground, I'll get upset, because at that point they're undermining the abilities of the Pegasi. But we have a long way to go before G5 gets to the level of overpowered magic that G4 regularly pulled. Aren't the three breeds supposed to, need each other? And build off each other's strengths and weaknesses? Balance between the three pony breeds was so well done in G1, and so crucial to the narrative of G5. And G4 just didn't care. Nah, unicorns can do everything. There's a city in the clouds that only Pegasi can live in? Yeah, Starlight can go there. I think most of the complaints about Izzy levitating herself are not directed at balancing, but rather at continuity with G4, since there's this perception that only magically gifted unicorns are supposed to be able to levitate. But to me, there's no continuity issue, because they've established that magic is supposed to be getting stronger and evolving. And in any case, I've always been more interested in the story G5 is trying to tell than how it connects to G4. And the story of magic that G5 is telling, balance and unity, is better to me than the story that G4 told, unicorn privilege and special treatment for certain gifted individuals. One thing I do find disappointing is that unicorn magic seems to be limited to only levitation. I much preferred the system where unicorns got 1 or 2 spells related to their special talent. It allowed for more flexibility while still avoiding the I have a spell for everything problem that G4 ran into. The G1 unicorn's signature spells became a part of the characters, and a very important part of the plot, as they used their limited tool set to solve problems in creative ways, as opposed to, oh, I can create life, but I can't fix your main because plot. I really feel like Opaline represents the G4 worldview. Opaline sees herself as better than other ponies because she's an alicorn, and she believes magic is the most important thing in the world. Obviously, there was some alicorn worship, or at least privilege, going on in G4, and excluding rarity, basically every unicorn we meet in the show has a cutie mark in magic. Magical skill gives ponies relevance in both the society and the story of G4. Twilight's destiny as the protagonist is intrinsically tied to her magical abilities. She didn't earn her destiny. And I feel like the G5 writers are finally addressing the social inequity that the G4 writers created. It's late. These are issues that should have been brought up in G4, but it's happening. I enjoyed seeing Hitch and Sunny interact in this episode. I feel like we don't get a lot of these two despite the fact that they're childhood friends. I like watching them interact because they know each other so well and their personalities clash a little bit. I'll say their initial argument got off to a good start, with Hitch expressing concern that he wasn't projecting the firm leader image that the town needs, and Sunny failing to recognize why that's a problem. But when Hitch disses on smoothies out of nowhere,
I shouldn't be encouraging chaos and smoothies.
That was a clunky bit of dialogue that derailed the scene slightly. It's like the writers knew these two characters needed to argue, but they couldn't figure out exactly how to do it. I've also heard complaints from fans about how often Sunny is portrayed making smoothies and how little time she spends doing alicorn things. But let me ask, what alicorn things? Being the protagonist isn't a job. This is another thing G5 does better than G4 in my opinion. Sunny has a job. We know what she's doing from 9 to 5 on weekdays, and we know what her income source is. Until Twilight becomes a princess, she doesn't have a job. You could say she's Celestia's protege, but that's not a job exactly. She's studying friendship, so what? She hangs out with her friends all day? No. We know she sometimes avoids them to study something. You could say she's the librarian, but we never see her doing librarian things. Mostly in her spare time, she's depicted doing smart things, I guess? Okay, listen. I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher, I'm trying to get a PhD, I want to publish scientific articles for a living. I would be coded as the nerd in a cartoon show, just like Twilight was. So let me assure you that being smart isn't a job by itself. We see Twilight writing a paper about comets once. Is she an astronomer? No, we never see her writing about astronomy again. Twilight probably gets paid by Celestia, but she actually has nothing to do with her time.
I have to finish this report for the princess, summarizing all my other reports to the princess.
That's ridiculous. I have no idea what her weekdays from 9 to 5 look like. She has no obligations. She can do whatever she wants. And I like that Sunny has a real job. It's not a glamorous job, but I feel like that's extra fitting for the alicorn. To have a humble job, but to really enjoy it. And be good at it. And make something meaningful of it. To connect with her community through it. Sunny is a pony with purpose. Who contributes to her community. I want to see her running the smoothie shop. Wait, is Cloud Puff on pet snack boxes? That's a nice world building detail. And we waste time with Opaline, Misty, Sparky, and a freaky looking mouse, yada yada, wasted screen time, back to the actual story. So I was interested in the concept of this episode because it presented itself as more of a personality swap like Mishmash Melee rather than a full-on body swap like She Talks to Angel. I like these sorts of episodes because we get to see a character keep their own body but have to navigate the weirdness of thinking and acting like some pony else. But they didn't execute it very well. I think Sunny kept on talking and acting like Hitch for quite a while, but Hitch dropped the Sunny act pretty quickly. He went from follow your heart to sticking to the smoothie recipe. This isn't Sunnified Hitch, it's just Hitch trying to do Sunny's job. Let me turn my right flank towards the camera so the audience can see my cutie mark. I also feel like they wasted a lot of screen time chasing animals around. It was kind of relevant to the plot since that was the challenge Sunny faced while trying to do Hitch's job, but it went on long before and after her contribution to it. I'm not sure why we spent so much time on this. It feels like maybe a playset was involved. So overall, this episode isn't bad. I like the premise, but the execution is a little lackluster. I will acknowledge that there were some interesting interactions between Sunny and Hitch, especially in their argument and in the first few minutes after their cutie mark switch, but there was also a lot of wasted screen time and some clunky moments. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Peace out.